This is me.
Just kidding, this is me. Hello, my name is Amanda and welcome to my channel, Always Popular, where I will be talking about pop culture, music, film, drama, and fan videos. Hello and welcome back to my channel, Always Popular. I'm Amanda, your host, and let's jump into this week's episode. Before I get started, I just want to say this episode is a special milestone episode as it's the 2-year anniversary of my channel and podcast, Always Popular. So a special thank you to anyone who has watched any of my episodes and has followed me for over 2 years now. So for this season 2 finale episode, it's all about one of the most underappreciated vocalists of one of the most successful boy bands of all time. If you haven't been paying attention to pop culture recently, let me summarize that for you.
I look 13? Definitely not.
For insane.
What? Oh!
The past month, no other 90s boy band is being talked about so much right now than NSYNC. If you are not a millennial, you don't understand the level of excitement around this band right now. Some of the most loyal fans like me have waited 20 years for a comeback like this. So in honor for them and their comeback single, Better Place, this is on JC. No, not on Justin this time around. JC Chasez, NSYNC's leading underdog. Obviously, when NSYNC came out, a lot of people were drawn to Justin for a reason. His charm, his personality, and it factor that drew attention to himself. Unfortunately for the other members like JC, as one of the lead-in vocalists for NSYNC, it seemed like JC's vocal talents were swept under the rug. During the time of the 90s to early 2000s, NSYNC was one of the biggest boy bands that swept the nation and is still relevant to this day. Whether or not they have been quoted and are referenced more than a handful of times in movies over the years. Since their hiatus in 2003, now more than ever, the band has been doing interviews and showing up at award shows the past few months. After looking back on their music, I never realized how good of a vocalist JC is. So why did JC get a lack of attention despite being the other leading vocalist in the band? And why did JC fail as a solo singer? Unfortunately, in NSYNC's case, their marketing team seemed like they just wanted Justin to be the center of attention. So much that after the hiatus, anytime NSYNC was brought up, it was, oh, the band that Justin was in, or it was the band that made Justin famous. No mention of anyone else, as if the other members didn't exist, and that always pissed me off. So we are going to have to go back to the beginning of when the hiatus started. After the Celebrity Tour in 2002, Jay-Z got partnered up with someone to make music for the 2002 movie Drumline. The song he did was called Blow Me Up With Her Love. Shortly after that, he was working on his debut album, Schizophrenic. The album was released in February of 2004, the only solo album that he had released, and it had songs with titles like All Day Long I Dream About Sex and Some Girls Dance With Women. They honestly tried way too hard to make JC look like a sex symbol and failed to market him. It seemed like that they didn't even market him or promote him at all. I honestly didn't know he attempted to go solo until like 2013. However, surprisingly, his album got praised for the production and his vocals. However, the album still failed and wasn't a commercial success. At the time, he had no radio promotion for his singles. His marketing team literally failed him. I never heard of anything he did, and it's no wonder why a lot of people didn't know about it. He never got the exposure he wanted. To make things worse, of course, they want him to have a different image from what he did in NSYNC. They gave him this so-called party boy / fuckboy image. This image that they had for him comes off as not genuine and not himself. He comes off as cringy and trying way too hard. So it's sad that he worked so hard on this album and got nothing out of it. Sadly, after listening to the music, I could see why it failed. His music comes off as not genuine either. Also, the songs he sang were not that good, and JC deserved a better production team. His songs were not that catchy and are easily forgettable. Some of his songs aren't that bad, but they're not that great either. And this is coming from a diehard NSYNC fan, and that says a lot. The style of music he did doesn't showcase his talents or voice whatsoever, like the way NSYNC music did. NSYNC music had better writers and producers, hands down. So whoever was a part of JC's team clearly didn't know what they were doing, or they were secretly trying to sabotage his career. That brings me to my next point. Now, this is just a theory. However, a lot of fans of JC and online fans believe he was sabotaged by his own record label and manager, Johnny Wright, which could be a possibility. Incidentally, JC and Justin were signed to the same label, Jive Records. Jive Records also had a huge roster of other artists as well, like the Backstreet Boys, their main competitor. Apparently, their band manager, who was Johnny, was also JC's personal manager at the time. It was his call to say they were going on a hiatus for 6 months. Johnny said to push it off even further to help Justin and plan his first tour for him. So many people believe that's sketchy. Clearly, they favorited Justin and wanted to give all their attention to him. So maybe they did that and left JC in the dust with nothing. In addition, that could be part of the reason why JC's album kept getting delayed or pushed back several times. Eventually, around the time it was finally released, the biggest controversy in NFL happened. When Justin did the Super Bowl with Janet Jackson, everything went haywire. The promotion for JC's album was heavily affected by this controversy, but that seems very unfair to JC considering he had nothing to do with this. In addition, he was sadly dropped from the halftime performance at the 2004 Pro Bowl. Also, the NFL was unhappy with the lyrics of JC's song, Some Girls Dance With Women, expressing too much sexuality. Everything he had done just crumbled to pieces just because of his ex-band member at the time. Of course, the craziest thing is that this almost happened 20 years ago, and people still talk about it and bring it up. Now everyone will know JC was screwed over. He just never had a chance. Lastly, the other reason why he never had a successful solo career could have been because he didn't have that wow or it factor, even though he was hands down the best vocalist in NSYNC. And for some reason, maybe he didn't have enough star power to make it big like Justin or other male solo artists at the time. No shade to JC, he is obviously very talented. However, maybe being a successful solo career wasn't meant for him. So maybe it just wasn't meant to be for him. Still, over the years, he still has been very successful in producing and writing music for other people, like even for AJ McLean and David Archuleta. So for the JC fans out there, maybe JC could have another solo redemption album, and do not lose hope for JC. Other than that, go listen and stream Better Place by NSYNC. Other than that, once again, thanks for listening and watching, and you'll hear me in the next episode.